Well, hello, hello, hello. And today is the day. And today's coffee is a blend of Laird's mushroom coffee, the Defend blend, and Red Brick's raspberry truffle. And I want you to know it tastes mighty delicious. And so, thank you for joining me today. I hope as you come on, you'll give me some thumbs up and some comments. And we're going to leave the comments up so that they could be replayed later when we're done. And I just want to talk to you today about some miscellaneous items in my mind. I woke up today really tired. This is had a sick baby dog. Uh, she's almost 16 years old, but still, she's our baby left right now. And we we feel bad for her because a week ago she started down with the diarrhea, and then I had to find a remedy because everything I tried did not help improve it. It just made things worse. And so I called the vets, and they recommended a probiotic that I went out and bought for her and gave her. Well, I guess the probiotic started working, but then she flipped over to today not wanting to eat a thing, and she was very restless this morning. And I called the vets, and they said, well, maybe you need to bring her in, she might have a blockage. Well, that disturbed me because then I thought dollar signs started flying all over the place, and I started praying. And so anyways, a little while ago I decided to try one more time to see if I could get her to eat. And don't you know, she ate up a half a cup of food. And so she feels better, and now she's taking a nap. And so I called the vet and we chatted, and I'm going to give her another 48 hours to see what happens. And so that's my story on my dog with diarrhea. Now, my story about yesterday. I went to the doctor's yesterday, annual physical, you know how it is. And they always enjoy my coming because I keep them busy. I laugh, I make them laugh. I've always got something. I don't know. I just say things and they just laugh. They get a kick out of me. But anyways, this young lady was in there getting me ready for the doctor, you know, taking down my information and what have you. And it got to the end, and she said, "Well, what is the goals for your life this year for your health?" And I said, "My goals?" I said, "Goals?" I said, "My goodness." I said, "I'm already perfect health. How can you improve on perfect health?" And I said, "Well, I guess my goal is just keep being perfect." And she laughed. But I thought, well, there's nothing wrong. I was only in there because it was an annual physical. And my doctor came in and she said, "Okay, we're going to start first with your problems." And I said, "Problems? What problems?" And she just looked at me and she started laughing. And I said, "I didn't come in because I had any problems. This is my annual checkup." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, but we have some problems to talk." So I said, "Let's go through them." So she started to talk and I started to listen. And the first thing she says, "Well, we know your cholesterol is too high." I said, "Yes, we do. And we know that I'm not going to do anything about it. It's where it's supposed to be. It's my cholesterol. I like it the way it is. My body's making it, and I'm not fighting with my body." And she said, "I know that, Paula. I know that." And then I talked to her because you all know I was a little upset because she sent in a prescription after I told her I will not, do not send it to the prescription, and it came anyways. And then I said, I gave you a benefit of a doubt, and I decided to say, well, maybe she didn't have a choice. Maybe somebody laid the pressure on. And she said, yes. She said, I was told that I needed to send that prescription in and that you would take it. And she said, but I told her she's not going to take it. She's told me she's not going to take it, and I can't make her. And I said, no, you can't. And so I said, so that problem is really not a problem. And then she said, well, then there's your IBS. I said, my IBS? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, that's not a problem either. She said, well, don't you still have it? And I said, well, I said, when I had the keto, I had a slight variation of it still, but I'm on carnivore now. And no, it doesn't bother me. I don't have any trouble with keto. I mean, keto with IBS now. I said I do have a problem every now and then with, like snugs, the diarrhea. But I said that's my fault because I'm drinking coffee, and as you know, doctor, that will bring it on. And she said, yeah. And then she said, well, let me ask you a question. Does it keep you awake at night? And I said, keep me awake at night? She said, yeah. I said, no. She said, it doesn't me either. But she said, all my patients come in here and say, I can't drink coffee after such and such a time. It keeps me awake all night. And I said, my goodness, I can have a cup of coffee before I go to bed and sleep through the night without any disturbances. She said, so can I. So there we agreed on that. So I said, well, you can take the IBS off. And then she mentioned a third thing. And do you know what? I still don't even remember what the third thing was that she mentioned. And I guess it wasn't too important because I don't even remember that we ever talked about it. So again, how can you improve perfect? I said to that girl, my goal for this next year is to keep my perfect health. And as all of you are knowing, I've been doing carnivore now for just a little over a year and a half, and I have lost a lot of fat in my body. I was not overweight, really specifically overweight. I mean, yes, there were periods in life that I was very much overweight. I was at one point 200 pounds overweight. This was many years ago. But I shook off most of that, and then I gained a good portion of that back, and I've been doing different diets since then. And of course, then I went on keto, and I didn't go on keto to lose weight. I went on keto for a healthier way of eating because I just felt like the vegetables, for some reason, were causing me a problem. And now I know the vegetables and all reasons were giving me the problem, because after I cut out the vegetables and the fruits and stuff like that, I don't have that problem anymore, especially now that I am doing the carnivore. And the only time I told her I have a problem, and I said, and it's my own fault, is if I have more than 3 or at the most 4 cups of coffee a day, then I'll have the runs the next couple of days. But I try to discipline myself to keep my coffees under 4. And so that's what I do, and I don't problem as long as I do that. And then I told her, but then I drink mushroom coffee now, and when I drink that only and no other coffee, then I don't have that problem at all. And she said, mushroom coffee? What in the world is mushroom coffee? And I said, well, let me tell you about it. I'm always educating her every time I go and give her a visit. And I think that's another reason why she enjoys having me come in. So we talked about that for a while. And I just want you to know, everybody, there's ways that we can help encourage and inspire others just by sharing the good things that are happening in our lives. And I see some people are on there. I've gotten 1 like already, and I see a person, and I don't know who you are, but join in. I've opened up the chat so that I could leave these chats up after I go off and people could read them. And so leave some comments and leave me some emojis, happiness or crying or whatever is floating your boat at the time I'm talking. But anyway, so those are 2 things I wanted to talk about on my miscellaneous coffee talks today. And again, I just want to remind you that I do have a Buy Me a Coffee app up, and I'm promoting that for those who love to sponsor. There are people who enjoy your videos and they like to help sponsor you in whatever way they can and show their encouragement. And I'm looking. I haven't had anybody buy me a coffee yet, but that doesn't mean there hasn't been somebody out there that didn't want to buy me one. So buy me a coffee. And I'll tell you what, you spending that money on my coffees in a good way, because I only buy coffees that I can drink. And sometimes I might go out to a coffee shop. I have a local coffee shop that just is about 1 block down the road from my house. I can walk to it. And I probably will from time to time. And now they know who I am and they love to see me come in the door. And so I've gotten so I really like their lattes. They make good lattes. And so I go there now and get lattes. And my hubby pulls in there now and buys me a latte from time to time, just because he knows I like their coffee. He doesn't, he said it's too strong for him, but I like it a little bit more on the strong side, and they make it just the way I like it. And so buy me a coffee, and I'll be buying coffees to drink and in my home, and coffees to drink when I'm out. And then I'll come home and I already have plenty of energy energy, but hey, we'll just say the coffees give me more. So buy me some coffees and give me more energy so I can keep making more videos. Okay, what else can I share with you today? Well, I'll tell you what. This has been 1 week. I want you to know it has been a full out packed week for me. Trying to get time in to study this week has been very difficult because, like I said, with this sick baby of ours that we've had, first of all, we haven't, none of us, her included, been getting much sleep because we're too busy running in and out. And I keep running in and out. Well, we all both do, my hubby and I. There's times we're going in and out that door every 15 minutes just because she's got to go out. And it gets kind of weary after a while. But you know what? When we have that problem, we don't say, hey, this is getting weary. We might say, I'm getting tired of this and wish it was over. But we just kind of have to roll with the punches. And so right now, we're with her. We're just rolling with the punches. And she'll be out of this soon. And then things will start getting back to normal. And then I'll find time to spend quality time on my studies. What bothers me is when I have to keep stopping and restarting. My brain is like, whoa, wait a minute. Where was I? What was I doing? What was my thought? Why did I put this here? How can I complete this thought when I don't even remember what the thought was? So, I mean, that's my problem. Maybe you don't have that problem because the older you get, the worse it gets. But you know what? I keep reminding myself this is only temporary because my memory is getting better. And I'm going to keep saying that until my memory gets better because there's no reason for it to decline when I keep it actively involved in life. And I keep it actively involved in learning. And this, my doctor yesterday, she said to me, I was telling her how that I had an emergency come up and I had to go to a different doctor and how he had treated me so well. And she said, Paula, she said, I didn't even know you had an emergency. I said, well, when I called, they told me you were booked out through the end of March. There was nothing available. And she's like, that's not true. I said, well, that's what I was told. And I said, and I didn't know what to do. And she said, well, if that ever happens again, and she told me what to do. And I said, I'll do that. And so anyways, I told you all this to say that at the end, she said, Paula, I would have done that. I'd have worked you in somehow. I said, well, I thought you would, but I didn't want to push. It's not up to me to push past your schedule. And she said, well, she said, I'm glad that you found this doctor and that he was so good with you and that he helped you. Because I told her, I said, usually, as she knows, when I go in to see her, my white coat syndrome is always up here somewhere. And when I went in yesterday, it was down here. I mean, this doctor that I just went to last, he really changed the picture for me in that area. He put some trust back in doctors that I haven't had in over 50 years. And so I really appreciate him and I will brag on him every chance I get. But anyway, she said, if you ever need me down the road, you just call. And if you can't get in, you tell them I said that they had to call me with your message. I said, all right, and I'll give them a message. And so that's what we're going to do. And she told me, she said, and if you can't get a hold of this other doctor, you come see me. And if you can't get a hold of me, then you go ahead and see that other doctor. I said, well, I want you to know there's only two doctors in this whole world that I trust now, and that is him and you, and nobody else is getting my business. If you two aren't available, then I'm not seeing anybody because I don't trust anybody. Our insurance man came to pay us a visit today because we had some questions about our medical insurance and some things have been going on. So he came very kindly over to the house and sat down with us and we talked with him. And the first thing I told him, because I remember the very first day I ever met him, he was outside of a business place and he had brochures out and he was talking to seniors about insurance, of which we had none. And so I went over and I said, well, I'll take your information and I'll look it over. And he didn't push. He wasn't pushy. He's like, okay, smiled, gave me the information and I went off. Well, within a few weeks, I don't even think it was more than a couple of weeks, I ran into him again. And I said, do you come to the house? And he said, yes. And I said, well, when we give you a call, would you come by and visit and let us know about this insurance? And he said, yes. Well, so the day when he came in, I said, I told my husband, please call Randy and ask him to come over because I trust Randy. I don't trust all these other people we've been talking to. And I didn't, even though it may be their business, they're also promoting their business to their advantage. So Randy came over and we talked, and I had a good peace of mind when we got done talking with him. And I told him, Randy, from the very first day I met you, I trusted you. And I told my husband, please call Randy. We need to talk to Randy because I trust him. And I wasn't going to do anything until I got his assurance that everything was okay, which I got today. So I'm sharing all of this with you off the top of my head because these are the things that are right on the top of my head right now that have been going on in our lives. And we have had a busy life. Just like I tell everybody, we all have our stuff going on. We all have our ups and downs. But you know what? We just learn to keep on moving on. It's not supposed to tie us down, keep us bound, discourage us. It's supposed to help us get stronger, get up, and run the race to the finish. And with that note, I think I'll close. And if you're on here and you didn't make any comments, please leave some comments for me later. And if you're on here and you didn't give me any thumbs up, come back and give me some thumbs up or some reactions in the comment boxes. But either way, leave me a message. And if this has inspired or interested you in any way, let me know that. I love getting on and sharing my coffee mixes with you because I like to buy my coffee and make my own blends, especially with the mushroom coffee now. I like my mushroom coffees, but sometimes I just want a little extra flavor, and so I'll add in some of the flavored coffee. I usually make them half and half. That way I'm getting it a decaf blend because of the mushroom coffee, and it is all right to have that way. So anyways, with that, I'm going to say, Lord bless you. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget, Sunday's going to be rolling around, and we have a message coming up for you Sunday, and it will be on at 10 o'clock, so go listen to it. And every week we have Sunday service here while you're all listening to that Sunday service from last week, and we keep putting up the next week's service so that you are always with us in our messages. Don't forget to come back on Tuesday nights where we're doing Bible studies, and right now we're in a Bible studies about how you can recognize who the overcomers are. I'm sorry. So come out and listen to that study. Again, thank you. I appreciate you coming by. Lord bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time around. Bye now.